Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. And I also want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to those who elect, hearing this word in truth and in sincerity. Alright, I'm the brother Iwalum from the GMS West Palm Beach Camp, back with another lesson. And I want to do something, centered along the lines of, as society crumbles, as we can see happening right now, men are going to be sought out more, something to that aspect, because real men are going to be sought out when society crumbles. I think that's what it was. I was, thinking about that topic, and pretty much, something, because as you can see, men in this society are shitted on, is men in this society are, and not just, real men. Real men are looked down upon. They call it toxic masculinity. They call you a bigot. They call you a mean if you being a real man. But as you can see, all right, the effect of all this is effeminate men. Or you got men painting their nails, all right, wearing dresses, wearing skirts, wearing colored hair, wigs. This is all the result of them, bashing, all right, masculine behavior. So now you got people scared to be real men, and now it's just a spirit out there that's effeminate, man. All right, but as this society crumbles, all right, them same niggas that are painting their nails, getting their hair done, getting their weaves in, wearing skirts, those are not going to be the men that, women or even other men look to for leadership, man. All right, but mainly women, because, and I don't mean to make the intro so long, but mainly women, because this is a society that was built on women thriving, that were built on women, getting over on the man, and now that their society is crumbling, women are losing their mind. You got so-called black women, they're losing their jobs, and I'm not just gonna single out so-called black women, all right, the white women, and the Asian women, all the women here in the society, they've been put over, a man to be in general, man. All right, but I said the so-called black woman because, the Israelite woman, all right, she's pretty much been set over, all right, the men of her nation. All right, you can see that the hell that she put on Jake, man. All right, but this is Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22, and it says, "How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." All right, and a woman has compassed a man, in this society, in this world. All right, because the Lord gave the power, like it's written in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, so the wicked is in rulership right now, and one of the main things that he's done in his rulership is, put the woman over the man. But as this man's kingdom, his world go down, what we're seeing is how women are really don't got it like how they thought they did. How they show in the movies. All right, the strong, independent type woman character are holding guns and, being bossy above a man. That's not reality, man. That's just movies. Because society is about to set in real quick. I mean, reality. So like I said, society. Reality is about to set in real quick for you people, man. Right? For you women. Because the judgment that the Lord is getting ready to send, right? The famine, teeth of wild beast, all of these plagues that the Lord is getting ready to send, is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of these women out here, a lot of these people, that's been set in their own world, and the energy toward the prophets, because people don't like how, the prophets, the men of the Lord, is straight to the point, straight cut. And what I mean by that is, no punches or, no sparing feelings. You know, and then this is what a man was in the ancient world. A man was, was what they call in this world mean, toxic. And this is all the agenda of the devil, man. The wicked. The wicked, made it a thing to push, people looking down on masculinity. Alright? But that masculine energy has been brought back by Yahweh Shema Shai through his prophets. So now you got people, that's why you got people like, Kevin Samuels. Well, you had Kevin Samuels, but he passed away. You got Andrew Tate, and all together, the red pill movement, the manosphere, in which I think that even that right there has been that's the word for lack of better words, that's been, they're infiltrated. That's the word I was looking for. That's been infiltrated by the devil Esau. But when it first started, it was really a thing about, getting men back, on their masculine, But now it's turned into just something, a woman versus man thing, or playing games with women. Because, hey, not to veer off topic, but when that red pill stuff, I remember, a couple years back, I don't know if it was only because, I was so-called, waking up to the truth, that I noticed it, but, it may have been around longer than I know, but, when I first got hip to the red pill shit, it was really about men getting their stuff together, not just chasing women, not just doing stuff, alright, to, get the women to notice you. It was really about men, reading more, or, men, getting their financials together, looking better for themselves, going to the gym. That's what it was about when I first saw it, but now I think when I look at it now, it's a man versus woman war. Alright, dudes are going in the comment section talking about who hurt them, why they'll never date a woman again, this and the other. So that's just the devil at work. Esau Edom, pretty much, pitting the man against the woman. I can see right through that bullshit, man. Okay? But nevertheless, back to the topic, yeah, man, as society crumbles, alright, real men will be sought out. Okay? And we can get more precepts to prove that. Okay? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 32. Let's hit a couple of points. Isaiah 32 and verse 2, and it says, "And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a rock, a great rock in a weary land." So, like, let's say you're walking in the desert, right? You walking in the desert, it's hot, 100 degrees outside, ain't no water in sight. And the minute you come across water, that's probably the best thing you've done witnessed, in that whole moment. Okay? You're grateful for it. Well, that's how men of the Lord is going to be. The men of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be like you, walking in the desert somewhere and can't find no water, and then you just come across water, and you're going to appreciate it. You're going to love it. You're going to cherish it. Right now, the men of the Lord is not cherished. All right? And I'm making this about men in general, how men are going to be sought out. But really, the men of the Lord are going to be the ones to be sought out. All right? You're going to cherish a man of the Lord, because Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be with his servants, the prophets, man. Okay? Ain't going to be and all that bullshit where, the woman has requirements. That's going to be all done away with, too. The woman going to have requirements 6 feet tall. You got to make this, amount of job. You got to be this. You got to be, quote unquote, this strong. Nah, bro, all that shit's going to be out the window. All right? And really, not even every woman is going to be accepted. All right? But who the Lord ordains, man. All right? Because you do have Israelites, you know, that probably they don't know the truth now, or they do know the truth and they haven't repented. But you know, Yahweh Shemi Shai got a time ordained for them to repent. You know, these are going to be, because you got women out there, you know, that they're not demons, you know, so to say. They're not demons, all right, but they still have a right mind, so to speak. You know, they're not completely through. They just haven't been, their spirits haven't been activated by Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, same thing with men. You know, you got men out there, they cool. You know, you might meet somebody in your day-to-day, they're cool. You know, they're peaceable with you. And you never know, the Lord may tap their spirit and they wake up to the truth and repent, man. You know? It's just that's the Lord's call to make. You know, I'm just trying to make the point of, you know, how, you know, the women are proud right now, you know, but then they're going to try to switch it up when, you know, when life conditions get hard. And I'm already seeing it, you know. Shit, rent is going up, groceries going up. So what they gonna do? They're gonna try to get on board. And it's not gonna be sincere though. It's gonna be because they gotta survive. Survival mode is gonna kick in. You know, and the men of the Lord through the Spirit, probably how about Shemi Shai, we'll see right through that bullshit. You know. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1, and it says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold. And 7 just represent completion, right? So a complete number of women is going to take hold of one man, like it says. You know, and you know, you got people that have a problem with the scripture. All right, mainly, you know, women, man, they have a problem. So you saying that you're going to have, you know, more than one woman, you know what I'm saying? Because they want to be that one wife, that one, you know, which is not going to happen. Because in the ancient world, we had more than one wife. We had wives, man. You know? And the purpose of having, you know, wives wasn't just because, you know, to fulfill the lust, all right, but it was really to forward our houses, man. In this world, you know, they're taught that having more than one wife is because of our lustful nature. You know, because you just want to smash all these women. No, man. No. We want to have, you know, more than one wife, you know, really to forward our houses. Because having more than one wife, you know, we're able to have more children, and that forwards your name, you know. Because one woman cannot have, you know, as many children to forward your name. You know, King David had more than one wife. King Solomon had more than one wife, you know, and that was to forward their name. Okay, it says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. See? So we'll eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Meaning what? And we'll take care of ourselves. You know, just let us be called under your name, man. Meaning what? Let us be, but them saying, let us be your wives, you know? And that happens through sex, you know? A man and a woman being together or being married happens through sex, man. Okay? Not the stuff you see today where the man bows down on the knee, all right, and then asks the woman, will you marry me? You know? That's that American shit, man. That's that Edomite shit. And I be looking at that shit, man. I be looking at, you know, pictures or videos of a man, you know, getting ready to propose, you know, and that shit just looks weird, bro. Like, you know, he gets down on one knee, looking up at her, you know, and she's looking down on him, and he says, will you marry me? All right? Pretty much asking her, you know, the way I see it, will you be my problem? All right, will you be, you know, it just looks weird, man. A guy getting on one knee, one bended knee to fucking ask his woman, his girl, you know, can you marry me? What kind of bullshit is that, man? You know? And to be honest, if let's be honest, if you smashed before you got on that knee and proposed, she was already your wife. But, here in America, you're taught that, if you don't put a ring on it, then you're not married. You're not in a relationship, which is bullshit. Because when society crumbles, that ring is going to be shit. It ain't going to mean nothing. It's going to have no value to it. You can't do nothing with that ring once society crumbles. Alright? Because what's going to matter more is, whether you have enough to eat for the next day. And we understand that the scriptures say, take no thought. Yahweh said, take no thought for tomorrow, or what you shall eat, or what you shall clothe yourself with. And also, that's not towards, the hopeful elect. That's towards these people of the world, that has made their stay, or made their, put their hopes in, things, that they have, things of this world, man. We put our trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and the wisdom that He's given us to be stable in these times. Okay? We can get that in the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and verse 6. Okay? Salakia for that. I'm kind of congested. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6, and it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is His treasure. Okay? Wisdom and knowledge is going to be our stability, and that's why in the times to come, people are going to see, the value that rise within the men of the Lord. I mean, the men of the Lord is already valued. People just don't see it because, people just don't see it because society is still going. Alright, society is still running. That's why people come and look at you while we're out there, where they look at us, in a stink, with a stink face. If someone even say get a job, get a life. I remember this one nigga at camp said, take a day off. It's women out here. Go talk to some women. And that's what that nigga life centers around. Women. Go talk to some women. It's take a day off. But hey, that was him scoffing at us, telling us that we're wasting our time. Because nobody comes up and listens to us. Sometimes somebody will come up and, hear what we have to say. But for the most part, nobody really comes up and listen to us. So a lot of people, they equate that to us wasting our time. But, time is not being wasted serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Because all of this is going into our spiritual bank account. Because when we need it the most, the Lord's going to show up for us. These people that scoff the prophets, that mock the prophets, dismiss the prophets, y'all gonna be met with judgment. Hey, at camp, it's like a testament or whatever. At camp, it was a group of jakes. They were gonna come and walk by us, and that's how they know. They were gonna come and walk by us. Alright, but they turned back around because they didn't want to come, through the prophets. When I say come to the prophets, I mean like walk past, the camp, because they would have felt condemned, because now brothers really, ain't calling, telling Jake, because usually, we used to be like, hey brother, what's up? You an Israelite, so on and so forth, and that's not to say we don't do that. Hey, if you got a good spirit, she got a good spirit, may do it, man. But for the most part, just letting people walk by, and do it, because we're in the times now where, Slakia, we're in the times now where, like the elder say, if a nigga can't get it, we moving on, But Jake done walked by. Jake was gonna walk by, but then they looked at us, and then they turned around and walked the other way. Alright? But that's okay though. because that judgment's still coming. You know, you're gonna seek the man of the Lord when the society crumble. All right, and Palm Beach, which is one of the biggest cities out here in Florida, you know, one of the richest too. You know, this shit is about to be dead pretty soon, man. You know, and then they're gonna remember, they're gonna consider, you know, when it was being said that, you know, these lockdowns are coming, these lockdowns are gonna be worse. You know, all hell's getting ready to break loose. People gonna remember. See, it's only because convenience is still open. When convenience is closed, that's when, you know, people gonna think about, oh shit, you know, I've heard this before. You know, that desperation gonna kick in, man. You know, but you know, that's what I want to bring out to the spare and probably out by Shemi Shai. You know, once again, this has been as society crumbles, our real men will be sought out. And when I say real men, I'm talking about the men of Yahweh by Shemi Shai. Because these so-called men today, they're gonna crumble. Matter of fact, let's get that. These so-called men today, right? They're not gonna have the wisdom and stability of Yahweh by Shemi Shai to withstand these times. All right, they're going to crumble under pressure, man. This is Jeremiah 30 and verse 6. It says, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. All right. So men, or who you call men, all right, in society, they're going to crumble. Because one thing that a man that boasts himself in is his strength, is his muscle. You know, they like to look intimidating with their muscles, man. I saw a video the other day. It was of some dude, you know, he wasn't even like, I wouldn't say muscular, but he was like big, like buff, and it's like, what's the point of getting that buff? Why? You know, maybe for strength or whatever, but you know, if you get attacked by a wild animal, you won't even be able to turn around quick enough to defend yourself, man. All right, but it's men like that that's gonna be on the floor, you know, crying and sobbing because of the things happening around the world. The world that you once knew is gone, man. That's how it's gonna be in the near future. Verse 7 says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Okay, Jacob's gonna be saved out of it. All right, meaning the elect is going to be saved out of it. Because Yahweh Shemi Shai is going to send his fierce judgment upon the world, man. All right? So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the full elect, here in the word and truth and in sincerity. Until next time, I say Shalom.